Oh man. Alrighty, y'all, so we got hit with like an unexpected snowstorm up here in Portland. I mean, I was out yesterday. There was like some light flurrying, but nothing was really sticking. And didn't really even hear anybody talking about it. The first sign that there's going to be like a change in the weather is at the grocery store. And I actually stopped there yesterday to pick up something for my wife. Stores weren't really more packed than what they normally are for early in the morning, so that's like the first sign that if it's going to snow, it's not going to be anything major. But fast forward to yesterday evening, really started to progress pretty tremendously. I mean, our cars were literally just buried within a matter of like a few hours once the snow really started to fall down. And my mother-in-law left work yesterday at like 5 p.m. and she didn't get home till like after midnight, which is pretty crazy. I think she was stuck downtown for like 6 hours, like just basically bumper to bumper. I think she said she went like 1 mile in like 5 hours. It's pretty terrible. But anyway, when I was out a couple days ago, found like a pair of these Kobe 8 graffitis right here. Super clean too. Picked these up from the Goodwill outlet. Only cost like $3, and usually like all of the Kobe stuff I usually keep and put in like my personal collection. But these right here are like a size 12. I wear like a 10, so not even close to being able to fit these right here. So I decided to just take the money. Alright, y'all, so at the post office, obviously nobody's here. I learned from like a really nice guy when I first got into reselling way back in 2016 that there was a hurricane, the post office don't close for anything. So I've been used to over the years in the snowstorm. A lot of times you live like couple of like 5-10 minutes over from the post office. A lot of times I walk over, but got another stop to make, so I figure I would get the car unplowed and drive over. Be careful, super slick too. The last of it. Alright, so the post office is like a ghost town, which usually happens every single time that it snows. Kind of parked just like right out here. Didn't want to take a chance of getting stuck with nobody here to plow you out, so you kind of see. I'll be dang. Alright, so the FedEx store was closed, unfortunately. Usually I just gotta drop off my packages that need to be authenticated at that location, but there's like a Walgreens like right up the way. You can drop off for FedEx up there as well, so I'm gonna try them and see if they at least have somebody back there taking them. let's go. Right here. Man, it's cold. Hopefully they got somebody back here. Alrighty, y'all, so they was able to accept the package in there. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of folks in there. Nobody at the back, but the guy at the front counter was able to help me out. So another problem solved.
The next day.
No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on the way where everything I say turn into the real thing. I tell her run it up, cause you know it ain't a thing. We made it out the slums, the words on the page. Everything is straight. I've been on the wave where everything I'm saying turn into the real thing. I've been living like I'm famous, like I don't show my face, like I'm jumping on the stage, like I'm living in a danger.
Alrighty, y'all, so this is like day 3 of like the snowstorm, which is, in my opinion, the worst day. A lot of ice on the roads. Yesterday I was out, it was still like a bunch of snow, and so that was pretty manageable, but you got to be careful now because like there's a bunch of like slick spots and stuff. Stopped over by the Goodwill bins, figured I would kind of venture out this morning, but their parking lot was a sheet of ice and they were closed again for like the 2nd straight day. So I figured probably head over to another part of town. Freeway is still like bumper to bumper. I think I'm only driving like 30 miles per hour or whatever. So it looks like due to inclement weather, my favorite non-bin thrift store is closed. Alright, y'all, so it looks like we're 1 for 3. The Benz was closed, Deseret was closed, but it looks like people are moving in and out of Burlington, even though it was only like maybe 5 or 6 cars in the parking lot. So let's go in here and see what they got. Remember like the last time I was here, they had like a lot of Nike stuff, even though most of it was flooded, it wasn't really moving for much. But they did have a lot of it. Like some Nike Alpha cleats, 25. Got like some Revolutions. Got these React Infinities right here. I sold a ton of these from like the Goodwill bins though. At like usually sell pre-owned for like 40 bucks. Got another pair of them they sell them for like 50, 60 bucks. Still got like the LeBron Witness from last time, 40. I like some Kyrie fly traps right here. At like 37. Looks like this right here is like a size 11. Got like 13, 14 size 11s. They're all listed at around like 70 bucks, so definitely not worth it. Like more Nike React Infinities. Can't tell you how many cars I've seen like just ditched on the side of the road. A whole lot of accidents and stuff. I mean, it's just really bad with like the weather. So there's one right there. Looks like somebody crashed. Alright, y'all, so most of the places that I've gone to today have been closed, but there's like a Ross like on my way home, so I figure I'd stop in here and see if they have anything. Alright, looks like it's just gonna be me and the loss prevention guy, maybe the cashier today. Ain't nobody here. What are we used for here? Some Under Armour. size too. It's like it hang a 17, women's 18 and a half. Oh, don't start that. Adidas leg shoe. Alrighty, y'all, so an unsuccessful day out sourcing, and partly that was due to the weather. Most of the places that I usually thrift at were closed due to the weather, but sometimes when you go out and source, you literally don't find anything, so it's accurate from that standpoint. But haven't been able to really source in like 2 days due to the weather, so I'm sort of running out of inventory. I think I got like a handful of items to list today, but do have like some shipping to do, so I'll show you guys some of the items that sold.
Straight cash, homie.
Alrighty, y'all, so if you've been following for a while, you know I've had 3 eBay stores. I know it's weird, but just roll with me. Been doing it for a while, and I mean, it works, so why not? This first store only got like 1 order going out for $23.32. Alright, y'all, so on that one item, it's just basically like this Adidas, like a half zip, like pullover right here. Nothing special. I mean, pick this up from the Goodwill bins, probably like less than $1. Anytime you could turn one into like a $20, $23 sale, can't beat it. Okay, y'all, so here's my second store. So I got like 4 items going out for $59.47. Alrighty, so first up, you just got like these Victoria Sport like crop capris right here. Looks like these are like a women's size large. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins, probably like 50 cents, and they sold for $15.33 all in. And next up, you have like this Nike, just this dry fit running tank top right here. Good thing about this one is it is like a plus size, like a women's 3X, so those tend to sell a little bit faster. And this one right here ended up selling for $13.50 all in. And next up, you just have like this Mountain Hardwear, like looks like a half zip pullover for women, like the black colorway. Probably only cost like $1 from like the Goodwill bins, and it ended up selling for, let's see, like $17.92 all in. And then lastly from this store, just like a basic pair of like Nike running shorts. Nothing crazy. I mean, like these cost like probably 25 cents from the Goodwill outlet, so hard to leave them behind. And these right here sold for $12.72 all in. Alrighty, y'all, so in the 3 stores combined, did about $700 in sales today. This is my main store, sold like 15 items, so let me break it down to what these actually are. If you follow my channel, you know I pick up like a lot of shoes. They're probably like some of my favorite things to sell, and I've already like plastic wrapped a lot of them, so you'll probably see it like that. And so first up, these are like a pair of Adidas Dames right here. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins, probably cost like, oh, maybe like $2 or $3. These end up selling for $56.70 all in. And next up, you got a pair of these Nike Monarchs, aka the dad shoes. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins as well, probably like $2 or $3. And these ended up selling for $31.99 all in. Then you got a pair of these Nike Air Force One like Flyknits right here. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins. They're actually lighter than like your regular Air Force One, so probably cost like $2 maybe. But they did end up having like a little bit of wear on like the top bottom on like, I believe that's like the right shoe right there. So noted that, and the buyer still wanted it, so they ended up paying like $40.65 for them. And next up, you got a pair of these Kyrie 7s right here, One World, One People. I've sold these right here like quite a bit, like the same model and colorway. A youth size right here. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins, probably like no more than like $2. They sold for $42.42. Alright, next up is this Fanatics Pittsburgh Penguins like hockey jersey. If you've been following like a lot of my Ross videos, picked this one up like probably like 3 or 4 months back. I picked up like a 3XL and a 4XL on this particular day. And I believe these were only like $20, and it ended up selling finally for $70.85. And these right here are a pair of Nike Huaraches. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins. Probably cost like no more than like $3. And they ended up selling for $80.62. These are kind of more of like the vintage model. I actually love the color and like that yellow and black. Considered maybe keeping these, but man, I got like so many shoes, so I decided to pass this one on to the next person. And then next up, you got a pair of these Nike Air Jordans for toddler right here. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins. Probably cost no more than like $1.50 maybe. They ended up selling for $28.53. And here are a pair of Nike Oregon Duck trainers right here. And these are like a size 8.5. Otherwise, I would have kept them if they were like a 9.5 or a 10. And picked these up from the Goodwill bins. Probably cost no more than like $2. And they ended up selling for $44.99. And next up, you got a pair of Nike Air Jordan 1s in like the University Gold colorway. I believe these are like a grade school. Goodwill bins pickup, surprise, surprise, probably costs like $2. They end up selling for $41.12. And I believe these right here are like the last pair of shoes. These are just like some Nike flip-flops. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins. They did have like a small like flaw on like some of the footbed material, so didn't sell for what they would probably usually do, but they still ended up pulling in like $16.62, and again probably only cost like no more than like $1 from the bins. Alrighty guys, so on to the clothes now, and here are like some newer tags. Under Armour like crop leggings. Good thing about these are they're a plus size, a women's 2X. Accepted like an offer from a lady. She took the liberty to tell me that these right here were at Kohl's for $30, so that was the reason why she sent me the offer for like $20. But at the end of the day, they ended up selling for $20 plus shipping, which brought the total out to, let me see, $27.90. And here are a pair of Nike track pants right here for women. Goodwill bins pickup probably cost like $1. And these right here ended up selling for $29.74. And here is like a Carhartt, like a 1/4 zip like sweater pullover. Looks like this one right here. This is a men's 2XL in that relaxed fit model. And it ended up selling for $35.37. And this one right here is a little bit heavier. Probably costs like no more than like $3. And next up is like this Columbia fleece jacket. A smaller size, a men's extra small. I actually had to sit on this one for like a few months, but it finally ended up selling for $29.46. And again, a Goodwill bins pickup probably costs like $2. And last but not least, picked up a pair of these Nike fleece sweatpants for women. Picked these up from the bins. No more than like probably $3. They are a little bit heavier. And looks like a women's XL, and they ended up selling for $35.37. Alrighty y'all, so that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you guys for coming along with me. If you got anything out of the video, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help me try to grow this year. But I'll catch you guys right back here on the next video.
This might be all that I know. Think it's okay. I've got a long way to grow. At my own pace. Go the long way. No one taught me how to walk, but I figured it out fine.